He felt something. He didn't know he was going to die on December the 10th, but he felt something in his heart.
When it comes to soul music, Otis Redding is a name that will forever be remembered. His powerful voice and emotive performances captivated audiences around the world, making him a true icon of the genre. But like many famous figures, his life had its share of unfortunate events, drama, and rumors, especially when it came to his supposed romance with Lola. Watch this video to find out about the rumors Otis Redding's children have recently confirmed. Early life. Otis Ray Redding Jr. had a tough start in life. Born in Dawson, Georgia, he was the fourth of 6 children and the first son of Otis Redding Sr. and Fannie Roseman. His father had a variety of jobs, from sharecropper to working at the nearby Robins Air Force Base and even preaching at local churches. When Otis was just 3 years old, the family moved to Tyndall Heights, a predominantly African-American public housing project in Macon. This move marked the beginning of Otis's journey into music. The family joined the Vineville Baptist Church, where Otis started singing in the choir and even picked up the guitar and piano at an early age. But that wasn't enough for him. At 10 years old, he also started taking drum lessons while still keeping up with his singing. He didn't stop there. Otis joined the band at Ballard Hudson High School, performed gospel songs on the radio, and even won prizes in talent shows. His passion for singing was undeniable, and he looked up to artists like Little Richard and Sam Cooke as his inspirations. But just when things seemed to be looking up for Otis, life took a turn for the worse. At the age of 15, he had to drop out of school not because of academic troubles or bad behavior, but because he had to take on the heavy responsibility of supporting his family. His father had fallen ill with tuberculosis, leaving his mother as the sole breadwinner. Otis had to step up and become the man of the family at a young age, taking on odd jobs like digging wells and working at a gas station, all while continuing to pursue his passion for music. It was a tough start for Otis Redding, but these early struggles would shape him into the legendary musician that he would become. Rise to fame. It all started with a breakthrough moment in 1958 at a talent contest hosted by disc jockey Hamp Swain at the local Roxy and Douglas theatres. As fate would have it, Johnny Jenkins, a well-known guitarist in the area, happened to be in the audience that fateful night. Upon hearing Otis's performance and realizing that his backing band was in need of some serious musical assistance, Jenkins offered to help him. And so, with Jenkins by his side, Otis performed Little Richard's Heebie-Jeebies and wowed the crowd, winning Swain's talent contest for 15 consecutive weeks. But it didn't end there. Jenkins, clearly impressed by Otis's talent, went on to work as the lead guitarist for him and even shared the stage with him at several gigs. Soon enough, Otis found himself stepping into the shoes of frontman for Pat Teacake and the Mighty Panthers, taking over from Willie Jones and making his mark on the music scene. But as they say, when one door closes, another one opens. When Little Richard made the switch from rock and roll to gospel music, Otis found himself being hired by the Upsetters. The pay was decent, with him making about $25, which by today's standards would be around $264. However, this stint was short-lived, as Otis decided to move on to new and exciting opportunities. In 1960, Otis made the bold move to Los Angeles, California, where he began releasing singles and carving out his own unique sound. A year later, he returned to Georgia and recorded Shout Bamalama, a move that solidified his place in the music industry. It was during this time he joined the Pine Toppers band. The turning point came during one of Jenkins's recording sessions at Memphis's Stax Studios. It was here that Otis recorded a heartfelt ballad he had penned himself, These Arms of Mine. The song struck a chord with audiences and quickly climbed to number 20 on the R&B charts in 1963, marking the beginning of Otis Redding's meteoric rise to fame. From there, Otis's career took off like a rocket. He became a regular at Stax, where he not only recorded his own songs, but also showcased his exceptional guitar skills. His vibrant presence in the studio was undeniable, and in 1965 he achieved something remarkable. He pulled off a musical marathon by recording the album Otis Blue, Otis Redding Sings Soul in just one day. The hits kept coming with I've Been Loving You Too Long, making its debut in the same year, followed by Fa 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 Fa, Sad Song, a year later. At this time, Otis's musical talent was unmatched, and his ability to captivate audiences with his heartfelt performances was simply unparalleled. In 1967, Otis joined forces with the sensational Carla Thomas to release a duet album that took the music scene by storm. Not content with just his own success, he also produced Arthur Conley's Sweet Soul Music, which shot up to number 2 on the R&B charts. It seemed like everything Otis touched turned to gold. The impact of Otis's work extended far and wide, with fellow artists drawing inspiration from his soulful sound. But this also stirred up controversy. During his career, Otis faced charges of plagiarism, particularly over the authorship of his major hit, Respect. Aretha Franklin sang the song, and it became a major hit, but it was originally written and recorded by Otis Redding. However, the success of Franklin's version, which significantly differed from Redding's original, led to questions and disputes over the songwriting credits. Redding was a prolific songwriter and often wrote his own material, which was not common for soul singers at the time. His ability to write, produce, and perform made him stand out in the music industry. Despite the charges, Redding's talent as a total package artist was widely recognized. But Otis was eager to expand his involvement in the music world, so he took the bold step of launching his own label, Jotis, proving that he was not just a star on stage, but also a visionary behind the scenes. Speaking of stages, Otis's magnetic presence and genuine performances catapulted him to stardom. With his powerful vocals and expressive flair, he mesmerized the audience at the 1967 Monterey International Pop Festival, leaving a lasting impression on music history. It was at this point that Otis's name became ingrained in soul music, permanently transforming the musical genre. But he suddenly started having a strange feeling in his throat, and by the time he went to the hospital, he received a shocking diagnosis. Turns out he had an abnormal growth of tissue called a polyp on his larynx, which is also known as the voice box. Now, most people would have thought that was the end of the road for him, because how can anyone sing with something like that? But Otis wasn't ready to give up, so he took matters into his own hands and tried all sorts of remedies: tea, lemon, honey, you name it. But nothing worked. Eventually, he was hospitalized in September 1967 at Mount Sinai Hospital in New York to undergo surgery. But by December of the same year, Otis was back in the studio, doing what he does best, singing his heart out. But his career wasn't the only highlight of his life. In a world where celebrity love scandals are common, Otis stood out for one remarkable reason. He had just one leading lady, Otis Redding's love life. It all began when a young Otis met Zelma Atwood at the Douglas Theatre in Macon, Georgia. They were just teenagers at the time and had no idea their encounter, which happened by chance, would blossom into a beautiful love story. It wasn't love at first sight for Zelma, who didn't initially find Otis all that charming. In fact, their relationship started off with a good old-fashioned argument, but as fate would have it, the two kept running into each other and eventually became friends. Otis, at 18, was far from the music icon he would later become, while Zelma was a 16-year-old with no idea of the incredible journey that lay ahead. Their relationship was built on a foundation of genuine friendship, with Otis's musical talents taking a back seat. It wasn't long before their friendship blossomed into romance, and in 1961, the couple exchanged vows in Macon, Georgia. By this time, Otis was already making waves in the music industry and was a successful singer and songwriter. Despite his rising fame, Otis always made sure to stay connected with Zelma, even when they were miles apart. According to Zelma, no matter where he was, Otis always found a way to reach out and check in on her. It was clear that their bond was unbreakable, even in the midst of his skyrocketing career. As their love story continued to marvel fans, the couple welcomed 3 beautiful children into the world. Dexter came first in 1960, before their marriage, followed by their daughter Carla and son Otis III. Zelma often found herself catching glimpses of Otis on TV, captivating larger and more enthusiastic crowds with his electrifying performances. And of course, she was proud of him. His albums were climbing the charts, and his hard work on the road was undeniably paying off. Throughout their marriage, Otis and Zelma navigated the highs and lows of life together, proving that their love could withstand the test of time. Despite the demands of his career, Otis always made sure that Zelma and their children remained his top priority. Beyond his incredible talent, he was known for being an amazing father and husband. According to his wife Zelma, their relationship was something truly special. "It was a great feeling, you know," she says with a smile. "He was such a humble person and so appreciated what was going on because artists back then were so different from artists today. They were doing it for the love. They had so much respect for their bands and family and friends and people in the music business." The love between Otis and Zelma was legendary. They were the perfect celebrity couple, deeply devoted to each other. Otis often credited much of his success to his wife, claiming that many of his songs were inspired by her. Their love seemed unshakable, but even in the midst of their seemingly perfect relationship, rumors began to swirl. In 1967, whispers started to spread that Otis was involved in an affair with fellow musician Carla Thomas. The rumors primarily stemmed from their collaboration on the album King and Queen, which led to speculation about the nature of their relationship. However, these rumors were never backed by reliable sources. Some even went as far as to suggest that Carla Thomas had a child and that Otis Redding was the father. Another rumor claimed that Otis had an affair with Lola Falana, but just like the other alleged relationships, there was no concrete proof. Despite these rumors, Otis and Zelma's love endured. Their bond remained unbreakable, a testament to the strength of their relationship. Theirs was a love story for the ages, filled with laughter, tears, and an unwavering bond that endured over time and distance. But their love story didn't end well. Otis Redding's untimely demise. One of Otis Redding's most iconic songs, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, is a haunting melody that still lingers in our hearts as a sad reminder of the legendary Otis Redding. This iconic song also holds a special place in music history, not just because of its soul-stirring lyrics and captivating melody, but also because it was penned in the final days of Redding's life. In August 1967, Otis found himself seeking inspiration while living on a rented houseboat in Sausalito, California. It was there that he began crafting the lyrics to what would become one of his most beloved songs. With the help of Steve Cropper, who was a Stax producer and guitarist for Booker T and the MGs, the song was filled with raw emotions and depth, but they had no idea that their creation would become a lasting tribute to Otis. Penned just days before his tragic end, the final touches to Sitting on the Dock of the Bay were made on December 7th, just 2 days before Otis's life was cut short in a devastating plane crash at the young age of 26. But what really happened on December 9th, 1967? Otis and his band went on a routine journey aboard a Beechcraft H-18 airplane to perform on the upbeat television show in Cleveland. When tragedy struck after a series of performances, including 3 concerts in 2 nights at Leo's Casino, Otis's next stop was set to be Madison, Wisconsin, where he and his band were scheduled to perform at the Factory nightclub. However, fate had other plans, and the world was robbed of an artist who had so much more to give. Alongside Otis, 4 other members of the Bar-Kays, guitarist Jimmy King, tenor saxophonist Phelan Jones, organist Ronnie Caldwell, and drummer Carl Cunningham, lost their lives in the tragic accident. The loss was felt deeply by all who knew and admired these talented individuals. Otis Redding's untimely death occurred just 5 months before the tragic assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. in Memphis, the very same place where Otis's iconic track, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, was recorded. At that time, Otis's partnership with white musicians Steve Cropper and Donald Duck Dunn on the single was a bold statement in opposition to those who believed in the division between white and black people during a time of intense racial tensions. The trio, comprising Otis, Cropper and Dunn, worked tirelessly to bring to life the music and lyrics of Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. Rumor has it that Otis considered the song unfinished and longed to sprinkle his final touches of magic onto the track, but he couldn't. But something happened even after his demise. In a move that some might consider audacious, Cropper took it upon himself to honor Otis's vision after his passing by adding the distinctive sounds of seagulls and crashing waves to the background of the track. According to Cropper, these were the sounds that Otis had envisioned while writing the song on a houseboat in Sausalito. In another revealing interview on NPR's Fresh Air, Steve Cropper revealed the origin of Otis's most iconic song. According to Cropper, Otis was a man bursting with ideas, and during his time in San Francisco, he found inspiration in the sight of ships coming into the bay. As Cropper recalls, Otis was one of those guys who had 100 ideas. Cropper also said Otis had been in San Francisco doing the Fillmore, and the story that I got was that he was renting a boathouse, or stayed at a boathouse or something, and that's where he got the idea of the ships coming in the bay. There, with just a simple line, "I watched the ships come in and I watched them roll away again," Otis sparked the creative flame that would ultimately lead to one of his most beloved songs. Cropper recognized the raw emotion behind those words and took it upon himself to finish the rest of the lyrics that became a tribute to his friend. Just a month after his passing, his iconic track, "Sitting on the Dock of the Bay," was released and went on to make history as his only single to reach #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in January 1968. It was an emotional moment that proved Otis was a gifted person who was taken from us far too soon. Another cruel reality is that Otis never got the chance to witness the success of his song, which became the first posthumous #1 single in US chart history. The album The Dock of the Bay also made waves as the first posthumous album to reach the top spot on the UK Albums Chart. And while the world celebrated Otis's musical legacy, the most heartbreaking aspect of his passing was the impact it had on his family. His wife and children had to navigate the overwhelming loss, a burden no one should have to bear: family grief. The death of Otis Redding was a devastating experience for his young family, but his wife Zelma refused to let his memory fade. Despite facing numerous obstacles, she has worked tirelessly to keep Otis's legacy alive and raise their children. After Otis's passing, Zelma encountered a wave of hostility instead of the expected empathy. Executives sought to exploit Redding's music, and racists bombarded her with hate mail. However, Zelma stood her ground and ensured that she maintained full ownership of his work and music, a crucial part of his legacy. She also established the Otis Redding Foundation as the primary vehicle for preserving the renowned musician's legacy. It has been over 5 decades since Otis passed away at the age of 26, and for Zelma, the pain has not lessened. Each December 10th serves as a sad reminder of the tragic loss, but while Otis may be gone, his children remain a vital part of his legacy, and Zelma has undoubtedly instilled in them a deep appreciation for their father's music and the importance of preserving his legacy. Otis Redding's children. Otis Redding III, the youngest son of the legendary soul singer Otis Redding, had big shoes to fill. He was just 3 years old when his father died, but despite this early loss, Otis Redding III and his older brother Dexter went on to form the funk band The Reddings more than a decade later, recording 6 albums in the 1980s. Their journey wasn't without its challenges, and despite releasing singles like Remote Control and Call the Law that made appearances on the Billboard music charts, the Redding brothers never quite reached the same level of success as their father. Despite their efforts to preserve their father's legacy, the band eventually disbanded after recording its final album in 1988. While Otis Redding III continued to play and perform, Otis Redding III found himself on a European tour as a guitarist for soul singer Eddie Floyd. Under Floyd's guidance, the younger Redding grew comfortable performing his father's famous song, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, and other tunes. But in 2018, he revealed the unexpected turn his musical journey took. Eddie Floyd said, "You can play guitar with me, but you're going to have to sing a few of your dad's songs," Otis III said. But I said, "I can't sing?" But Floyd didn't seem to believe him and insisted that they both performed Dock of the Bay that night. And that's how a new phase in his career began. Despite feeling initially out of his comfort zone, Redding continued to perform his father's songs for audiences of all sizes, from a tribute concert at Carnegie Hall to intimate weddings and private parties. But this new phase came with some regrets. While grateful for his father's enduring legacy, Otis Redding III admitted that it sometimes overshadowed his own musical efforts to make a name for himself. No matter how hard he tried to do his own thing, people always wanted him to perform his father's songs, and as a good son, he never rebelled and kept doing what people asked. Although he had to live with the emotional turmoil of not being fulfilled, Carla Redding, Otis's daughter, also had a daughter named Carla who was carrying on her father's legacy in her own unique way. According to Carla, her mother and father were constantly fighting for respect as people of color. So at a luncheon for Black History Month, Carla shared some inspiring words with African American women, urging them to persevere and never give up. Reflecting on her father's passing, Carla revealed that it forced her to mature quickly. She felt a strong sense of responsibility to take care of her mother during their time of grief. She also emphasized the importance of resilience and determination. Carla also fondly recalled the joyful moments spent with her father at home. She shared that whenever Otis was around, it was a time of excitement and fun. Their shared love for ice cream and the ranch brought them closer together, creating cherished memories that she holds dear. In addition to their shared love for ice cream, Otis had a passion for farming and animals, particularly his beloved dogs. His presence brought joy and freedom to Carla's childhood, creating a sense of carefree happiness that she treasures to this day. As Carla continues to honor her father's legacy, she embodies his spirit of resilience and determination. Her words of encouragement and her unwavering strength serve as a reminder of the enduring impact of Otis's love and guidance. Otis Redding's impact on the world will be felt for generations to come. His music and legacy serve as a shining example of the power of the human spirit and the enduring impact one person can have on the world. As we reflect on his life and career, we are reminded of the incredible talent he possessed and the timeless music he left behind. Otis Redding may be gone, but his spirit lives on through his music and the love of his family. His legacy is a testament to the power of love, perseverance, and the indomitable human spirit. Though he may no longer be with us, his music will forever be a part of our lives, a timeless reminder of his incredible talent and the enduring power of love. As we celebrate his life and legacy, we are reminded of the profound impact he had on the world. Thanks for watching. Subscribe.